Welcome back to our series on following Portugal's national route N2 in a large motorhome. Touring the N2 in a large motorhome can present some challenges, but if you follow the series, the tour will be easy for you. We have created a general guide to touring the N2 in a separate short video. If you have not seen it yet, click on the link at the end of this video. There is something for everyone on this route, and we will show you some of the highlights for us. Let us know what we missed and you found in the comments. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel. It will cost you nothing, but will help to grow our channel. We will provide a QR code later to help you subscribe. In this episode, we reach our final destination, travelling from Montargil to Faro. Our first point of call after Montargil was Mora, where we got our passport stamped at the Museum of Megalithism. It was at this point that we realised we'd missed the town of Avis, but we were not turning back, so we'll have to catch it some other time. In fact, this whole final leg consisted of places we missed, because the places of interest are not really on the N2. Coruche is a prime example. In the passport, Coruche's byline is "Cross the bridges." We expected there to be some amazing bridges to cross, but we found out that the bridges were all similar to this one. They must have bought a job lot of them, because we crossed at least 5, all the same style. The town, however, has a nice river beach, a bull ring, and a riverside walk. The air here was being used for a fairground, but there was plenty of parking for motorhomes near the bus station. Coruche is also a centre for Cork Production, and you can take a tour which explains the process. The cork oak is the only tree that can survive after its bark has been stripped. The bark cannot be harvested for the first 25 years of its life, but then it can be harvested every 9 years. Here you can see the difference between old and new bark. They harvest the cork with special axes, and afterwards they mark the tree with paint showing the last digit of the harvesting year, so they know how long to leave it. However, it is not until the third harvest that the quality of the cork becomes the best, and the older the tree, the better quality the cork. After harvest, the bark is boiled and then flattened in a press. It is then cut into strips before the actual corks are punched out. The best quality corks sell for €1 each. These oaks are due for harvest next year. Leaving Coruche on the N114, you eventually come to Montemor-O-Novo. As you enter the town from the north, you come to a T-junction and turn right for the N2. Just 150 metres along you see the big N2 75 Anos marker, which is right outside the tourist office. However, having checked on Google Street View, we decided that there would not be room for us to park by the castle or the tourist information, so we parked in a little car park and walked up to the tourist office and the fire station for our stamps. But then, when we saw the castle higher up on the hill above, we decided it was too warm to climb up there. The castle car park is quite small and only suitable for vehicles up to 7-ish metres, so beware. After Montemor-O-Novo, you have choices to make. You can take the N253 to Alcácer de Sal and then the N5 to Torrão, or you can stay on the N2 passing through Escural and Alcáçovas. We stayed on the N2. Take note, don't go into the historic centre of Alcáçovas in a big vehicle. You will regret it. Here, my senior years caused me to scramble my thoughts, and I mixed up the towns of Alcácer and Alcáçovas. So instead of looking for the N257 to Viana de Alantejo, I looked for a restaurant, and when I couldn't find it, I continued on the N2 to Torrão. So we never got to see the castle and convent at Viana de Alantejo. Alcácer de Sal was on our way home, so we actually visited it later, but we'll show it to you now. It is another well-kept town located in the Setúbal district of Portugal. It sits on the north bank of the tidal river Sardo and was a major port for the production of salt, hence the name do Sal. Today you will find alleys and stairways leading up to the castle and a few churches to explore. There are also cafes and bars along the promenade on the other side of the river from the motorhome parking. We got our passport stamped in the tourist office at the end of the road bridge. We found it a very pleasant place to while away an hour or so and break up the journey, taking a gentle walk along both banks of the river and stopping at one of the cafes to have a pastel de nata and coffee. The town is nothing special really, but it does have something that you just can't quite put your finger on. Whichever way you go, from Montemor-O-Novo, you eventually get to Torrão and continue south on the N2 to Ferreira de Alantejo. Here, it is best to take the bypass to the west of the town until you reach the roundabout with the N121, where there is good parking near the sports area. What 3 words? Offstage Patriot Alert. Tourist information and the Calvary Chapel is just a 10-minute walk from here. That night we stayed at Barragem de Roxo, which is a permitted air. What 3 words? Inflates, radicals, chemically. Fresh water and bins are provided, but there are no black and grey waste facilities. Essentially, it is wild camping. The area is right next to the reservoir, on some level ground, with plenty of trees for shade. Alternatively, there is level hard standing which can be used. On arriving here, we were greeted by what seemed to be wild dogs, but we later found out that they belonged to the goat herder and were there to keep an eye on the goats. They were very friendly and caused us no bother. They just came over and shared our shade from the van. They did wake us up a couple of times during the night, barking at the goats if they came anywhere near our motorhomes. But other than that, we had a very quiet and peaceful night's sleep. The next place in Passport was Aljustrel. Here, the tourist information was closed, but you can get a stamp at Café Aliança. This town's claim to fame is its mines which produce zinc, lead and copper. Castro Verde is 21 kilometres further on the N2. Here we made the mistake of driving into the main square, Plaça da República, which leads you on to some very tight streets, some with weight and length restrictions. Luckily, we found our way out without any scrapes and found some on-street parking near the hospital. What 3 words? Lolly, lookout, mambo. The small town of Castro Verde is quaint and typically Portuguese and well worth a visit. If you are a bird watcher, then plan to spend some time here to see great bustards. The town is also famous for its Ferreira around the 3rd week in October. This is the Royal Basilica of Our Lady of Conception. From the outside, you wouldn't think much of the Royal Basilica, but this 18th century church is covered inside by azulejos, blue painted tiles. The majority of the tiles commemorate the 12th century Battle of Ourique, which is believed to have taken place not far from here. After this battle, Prince Afonso Henriques was made the King of Portugal, and Portugal became an independent state. Tourist information was hidden behind the Igreja de Nossa Senhora de Medios, the Church of Our Lady of Remedies. It's accessed through an archway to the right. Another 21-kilometre drive and you arrive in Almadövar. We parked near the N2 sign by the roadside, but later found a large car park near the Rotunda o Sapateiro. close to the tourist office. There are 3 roundabouts in the village depicting a cobbler, fireman, and a miner, and all are stunning sculptures by Aureliano Aguiar. This map shows where you will find them. The miner is on the N2 as you leave the village. The village of Almadövar is not really a tourist destination, but there is plenty to see here. It is the last stop in the Alentejo region, situated just 80 kilometres from Faro. It is on the edge of the Algarve. It is a pretty village to walk around, with its amazing street art and traditionally painted buildings. Also in the village, you will find a museum depicting a local artist and the shoemaking industry, which the village was well known for. Tourist information is at the entrance to the old convent, which is absolutely beautiful inside. We were surprised by Almadövar. It was much more than we expected. 5 kilometres further on down the road, it's like driving through hell as you climb up into the mountains and cross into the Algarve. This part of the route is very challenging for the driver, but also extremely scenic. We stopped for a while at this viewpoint to take in the vista before us. This is Miradouro de Caldeirão, which you'll find at Km738. Unfortunately, the heat haze hides the natural beauty. Was that a swing I just spotted?
Oh my goodness. Be careful, it overhangs. Right, stop it now. Come back. You just like to scare me, don't you?
Well, that was fun, as was the road as we dropped down into the Algarve towards the city of Loulé. But guess what? When we looked up Loulé in the app, we found out that we had already passed 2 of the places, namely Ameixial and Barranco do Velo. This is when I realised that the places in the passport are actually the municipalities, not the places of interest. But we went into Loulé anyway, and were quite pleased that we did. We got our passport stamped here at Tourist Information and at the Town Hall. But both were stamps for the places we'd missed, rather than Loulé itself. Right next door to the Town Hall is the municipal market. Here you could find just about anything you wanted, beautifully displayed on the vibrant stalls. Local farmers displayed their wares of flowers, vegetables, honeys and cheeses, and meat. And the fish market had just about every type of fish you could wish for. The place was so clean you could eat off the floor. Loul also boasts a castle which you can visit, but we found it closed because they were setting up for a special exhibition. So all in all, we didn't regret going to Loul in any way whatsoever. So we are almost there, but first we had to visit São Brás de Alportel, which is a typical Algarve town. The town is known for its flower festival, the Festa das Tochas Floridas, where the streets are carpeted with floral displays covering a 2-kilometre stretch. The festival is held at Easter, and these statues are there to commemorate it. After driving 738 kilometres down the centre of Portugal, passing through mountains and valleys, vineyards and cork oak fields, towns and villages, and having seen so much of the real life of Portugal, you arrive at the last marker on the route, the roundabout at Km738. You will feel a sense of achievement and a sense of relief that it is all over. The incessant rattling of your suspension smoothing out the road and the noise of the aircon battling against the heat are forgotten as you savour the moment. We found street parking near the roundabout. What 3 words? Sailing, engage, digital. You can get your final stamp at the print shop on the roundabout or walk down to the marina where there are a few places that have stamps. But wherever you get your stamp, you can sleep content that you have completed the epic N2 road trip. Your passport will be a constant reminder of the places you visited. I'll do my best at pronouncing the places that we visited. Chaves and Villapuca de Aguiar, Villarreal and Santa Marta de Penaguillo, Ezo de Regua and Lamego, Castro Verde and São Pedro do Sul, Vigia and Tondela, Santa Combadeo and Mortagua, Penacova and Villanova de Poiares, Lusa and Goix, Pedro Gallo Grande and Ceuta, the middle of the road and the centre of Portugal, Villa de Rey and Sardol, Abrantes and Ponte de Sol, Avis and Mora, Coruche and Montemor-O-Novo, Viana de Alantejo and Alcácer do Sal, Ferreira de Alentejo and Aljustrel, Castro Verde and Almadövar, Loulé and São Brás de Alportel, finally Faro. And don't forget, there's places for notes in the back of the passport. We forgot completely. Yes, we had a couple of blank pages in the passport, but that gives us a good reason to return another time. We hope you enjoyed coming with us on this incredible road trip. Do it yourself, you won't regret it. Join us next time when we show you around our favourite place in the whole of Portugal. Safe travels!